All right, let's go. How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. Let me see if everything is okay here. All right, so we're gonna do another episode of the AI application, continuing to build it. So for today's episode, I'm thinking let's focus on Django, explore Django's functionalities, and I'm thinking we're gonna start with the middlewares, and then work our way into achieving like UML diagramming or stuff like that. We don't know which models we want to focus on. We're just gonna go with checking out the middlewares in Django and then also going and trying to achieve, authentication. Yeah, I know that Django already has authentication, but yeah, we're gonna check it out. We're gonna explore it. All right. By the way, I have fixed the database issue that we had last stream. So it was an application called DaVinci Resolve Project Studio, and that application my wife and I used to like collaborate on DaVinci Resolve projects, and we didn't end up like using it as much as we thought that we would be. So I just decided to delete it. Michael 13 MG, hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, I fixed it. It wasn't an easy fix, honestly. It was a really weird one. So I uninstalled the application, but the slash library. Let's just go over here. Slash library Postgres 13 still existed, right? It still exists now. So in bin, if you check out bin, you can see there's like pgctl somewhere here. There we go. So I had to use pgctl to manually stop the process because this process wasn't managed by Homebrew or Docker or anything. I mean, it was managed by that application, but I removed the application and restarted my computer, and it still persisted. So, yeah, weird, but I managed to fix it. Let me just show you one more thing, and that is this thing right here. So, I updated Digital. Good morning. So I updated my keyboard's layout. Yeah, let's just ease into the stream. We'll just take it easy. So yesterday I updated my keyboard's layout. Let me show you how it used to be. So this is from yesterday, and August 22 was like the last update that I've done. Evie, how's it going? Welcome. All right, so I had it like this, right? Standard layer here with left shift, left control, and option here. And the tap and hold feature, for example, when you just tap on this key, it's Z. If you tap and hold, it's option. But I didn't like that. I wanted to change that. And I wanted to have better layers at the bottom. So I did something like this. So where I moved shift, left control, option, and command to the home row, and this is called home row mods. Pretty cool thing. A lot of people are using keyboards like this with the home row mods, and I just kept shift here because it's just the pinky. That is way too strong of a muscle memory for me to just like scrape it. So shifts are gonna be here. I moved the backspace to this one, to this key next to P, and it used to be a tap on the thumb. So this is gonna be very weird until I actually go and get used to this. But yeah, now I have two layers. Space is still here, enter is still here, because again, space and enter, these are like keys that I use very, very often, so I don't want them to be in a layer. So layer 1 navigation and symbols. As you can see, all of the brackets are here. So if I need to open a bracket, they're gonna be here. Opening on the left hand side, closing on right hand side. And the order, I'm still getting used to it, but yeah, eventually I will. I got some macros here, Command Shift and the square brackets for next tab and previous tab. So like I can do this basically with just one key instead of like doing Command Shift and then I gotta get into this layer and then it's like these. There we go. Yeah, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 keys. Not gonna happen. So I added them here, and I also have my arrows in like a Vim, in a Vim way, and then I have another layer which I have like the media control, play pause for like songs and stuff, and I also have mouse controls. I mean, this is pretty cool. If I'm being like too lazy and I just want to like click something, I can do it with my keyboard now. And here's left click, so I'm clicking on this and I'm dragging the image. So it's definitely not the same experience as just like, you know, having an actual mouse. Like this is definitely like super easy, but yeah, that's what I'm working with right now. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of mistakes. We might even like, you know, delete something, but you know, that's part of the fun. Super weird setup up to me. Yeah, but we'll definitely get used to this. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna go into djangoproject.com. I'm gonna close this. In case someone wants to check this out. Oh, see, there we go. We started making mistakes. In case someone wants to check this out, Command Shift and T, was it? Oh. Go and just share this in the link in the chat. There we go. All right, Django. We're gonna start learning Django like the proper way. You're crazy fast with the keyboard shortcuts, though. It amazed me. I used to be, but now I'm gonna need like at least a couple of weeks to get super comfortable with this setup right now. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna take my time. All right, so Django has like a tutorial that walks you through writing your first Django application. But should we do that? It's using the templates. It's like basically just rendering HTML on the server and sending that to the client. But I'm thinking we just use Django as like an API without necessarily rendering any, you know, UI code. Or if we do, I found a little project, Django React. There was a little project, just say site github.com. Django React boilerplate. Yeah, I think it was this one. And I checked it out. I wanted to see how, you know, how the Django server can render the React application. It's still gonna be client-side rendered, but not rendering actually, serving. Maybe that's a better let's see, base HTML. So it's basically serving a base.html file. There it is. Let's see, render bundle main CSS, include Sentry. There's the body block. Yeah, there are some stuff. We could look into that, into this like approach of rendering React from the Django. In that way, the React application and the Django server are going to be on the same origin, so we're not going to have any like cross origin, you know, issues to take care of. Although I guess that would be like pretty easy and interesting to see how we can solve it. But yeah, Fluffy. I've recently ordered the Souffle V2. Oh, nice. A cheaper option to try to get used to split keyboards. If everything goes right, I might consider Voyager, but I believe I will miss the extra buttons. Souffle. Let me actually check out. It's actually Souffle V2, right? I think I've seen this. Yeah, yeah. This is it's looking pretty cool. Do you want to go with the regular profile or the low profile, like MX, Cherry MX switches, or the chalk ones? Yeah, this is a pretty cool keyboard. And yes, you do have like 3 more buttons on the thumb. Although I think like having these 3 would be hard to hit. Like I want to go this way, but not too far. These would be hard to fit. Yeah. These would be hard to hit. Still pretty cool. I don't think you're gonna, you know, make a mistake getting this. All right. As I was saying, we can look into this, like serving the React from the Django server, in in this way. Basically, in Django we have an HTML and we serve that. But yeah, the pros on that approach is that we're going to get both the front end and the API under the same origin. The cons is that we are going to be pinging the API server for every, for every little visit to the site. So we're gonna have some scaling issues because we have the React application and it's probably going to be, just client side. I think we might be better off serving it on a CDN or something like that, on Cloudflare, until we go and move it to AWS. It's gonna be cached. It's going to be super fast, and it's not gonna be like one server serving this. Digital says, I would never survive on a split keyboard. Hit the middle with both hands depending on the word or pattern, and I often type with just my left hand when I'm feeling lazy. True, yeah. I had to give up lazy typing. I had to learn touch typing. I sometimes hit keys that I'm supposed to hit with my left hand, but I hit them with my right hand. And when I got a split keyboard, that really got, I really noticed that. I was like, click. No, that's not how it works. So yeah, touch typing is definitely a good investment. This for us like developers. All right, so we're not gonna do this, at least the beginning. I don't want to get into templates and stuff like that. Let's just, stick to plain React. We're gonna serve it on a CDN, or and we're gonna deal with the course. We're gonna set up course, but we're gonna gain on performance, and yeah, it's gonna be easier to scale. We are gonna hit the server anyways. The data will come from the API, but still. Yeah, it's not easy. I think it took me like 3 weeks, every morning, 10 to 15 minutes of practice on typing.com. Yeah, I used this website. 15 minutes every day, every morning for 3 weeks, and I was there. I learned all the keys. All right, yeah, let's get into it. There we go. Slow but steady. What I managed, I mentioned that I managed to fix the Docker issue. So I'm gonna just create one more. I'm going to do Docker compose up just so we can have the database running. And yeah, now it's on port 5432. I already fixed that. And now we're gonna go to the second window and we're going to cd into cd into apps/API. Activate the virtual environment. There we go. We have this. I actually added this myself. This was like a theme. I don't remember. I think it's like headline or something like that. But I went in and updated modified the ZSH theme, so I can have a good. I can see if I'm in an active environment. All right, so we are here, and we can do Python manage.py, and we'll just do run server. Really? Not. We are in the environment. What about pip? Pip is there. Okay. Pip install -r requirements. Why are we doing that? I think we did this last time. This is weird. All right, there we go. So now if we do which Python not found. That is not right. There's activate. Is there deactivate? No. I should just like kill the cd apps API source virtual environment bin, not Python, activate, damn it. There we go, activate. So if I do which Python, how is that possible? There's Python. And we are in this, I feel like sometimes technology just like, randomly, like, doesn't want to work anymore. Like I'm not gonna work today. That's it. I got Python 3, but if I do which Python 3, it is the homebrew Python 3, and I activated the environment, and I'm not sure why we can't just, why we can't just run the server with our Python version, the one that we have locally. So I guess I have to do VNV VNV bin Python, come on now, there we go, Python manage.py run server. Ugh, what? That does not look happy. Let me just select the environment here. Any errors here? No errors here, but it's complaining here. Yeah, as I'm saying, it is. Oh, there's an error here. There's an error in the DB name right here. Okay, that well, look, in that case, let's just go and modify the compose. Oh yeah, one thing I sacrificed, because I have like tap and hold keys to my. Let me just go here. Because I have tap and hold keys to my basically HJKL. I can't really go up and down and like scroll in a fast way that I used to do, like this, for example. You see how fast I'm scrolling through the file? And I'm using the arrow keys. I'm not using J and K. But if I just tap and hold, if I just tap, it goes up. But if I tap and hold, it activates what is going to be the option key. So, yeah. But I can still do it, yeah. All right, let's bring back the GitHub, not .files, but the flashcards project. Go to compose and actually get the Docker stuff. I have to do this because I'm gonna have to modify a bunch of environment variables. So in order not to do that, we are just gonna add it here. It's gonna be here. Okay, what the hell was that? Paste? Nope, that's not it. Damn it. Could have picked a better time to, you know, get a new layout going. All right, Command V. There we go. Okay, API docker file dash dev. I think that's that's the same docker file. Yep. Looks like it's the same one. And it's not gonna be packages. This time it's gonna be apps API. The same network. There's the DB hosts. Is that the only thing that I'm sending here? Just DB hosts? Okay, there's a .env here. Yeah. Okay then. But I'm not gonna need it anyways. And I didn't dox my Grok API key. It's like a free key anyways. So there's no credit card on it. I'm just gonna keep adding, you know, these things. Just, right into the environment here. Okay, so first, all of these should be indented properly, like this, and they should, what was that trick again? V block. There we go. We have a block, so we have a selection on the column, and now I need to do capital I to insert. Do this and hit escape, and these 3 lines should have a dash in front of them. There we go. Okay, we have the hosts, which is here. We don't need that. We have the host, the name. It's not gonna be flashcards. It is going to be millionaire dash DB. Was that right? Oh, user. There we go. Actually, I'm just gonna, you know, copy these ones. Okay. And yeah, of course, remove the hosts. Cool. So now if I do, I'm gonna stop this. This one, we're not gonna need this one. I'm just gonna do docker compose up. Nah, packages, where is, oh, there we go. The context was wrong. Let's see now. So now we're running the server along with the database, and it supports hot reloads. So when we change things, it is going to, it's gonna reflect that. There we go. There's the API. See? So for example, if we go to localhost on 8000, we need to add 00 or like localhost. Let's just actually go to localhost. Localhost 8000, there we go. We have the Django application running. This is for the 000. I'm not gonna care about that right now, but we do have, we got stuff running, okay? And there it is. Now let's check let's take a look at all the middlewares, because there's plenty. You see, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 middlewares. I want to know what they do. For those of you who don't know what middlewares are, they are basically functions that they get executed before you hit the endpoint. Like an endpoint is, of course, create something, read something. So Django has 9 middlewares, and I want to check those out. Let's get into middleware. I'm actually gonna like zoom out a little bit, because this time I changed my whole resolution. Okay, let's get into the middleware. Although this is the API reference, this is a tutorial probably. Let's look at the tutorial. All right, so now I feel like I want to zoom in. Middleware is a framework of hooks into Django's request and response processing. It's a low-level plugin system for globally altering Django's input or output. This is what I like Django. Like you can, I don't know, it's like, of course, like I shouldn't compare it to Next.js. Next.js does have like middleware and stuff like that, but yeah, the middlewares in Django are pluggable. Whereas in Next.js, you only have one function and you do the ifs. If the request is this, if the request is this, you know. So I don't know. I feel like the Django middleware is just better. Better DX, that is. All right, so each middleware component is responsible for doing some specific function, of course. Authentication that associates user with requests using sessions, so that when we get into the API handler, we will have that user through the arguments or something like that. Like this is the user, so we're not going to need to, you know, do any authentication checks or authorization. Yeah, but authentication, no. This document explains how middleware works. Yeah, how you can build your own. Let's actually write our own. A middleware factory is callable that takes a get response callable. So this is like a, I guess, a callback, right? Yeah, a callback, and returns a middleware. In Python, I guess they call them callable. A middleware is capable. Is a capable that. A middleware. Okay. This is how much coffee I have drank since this morning. Just this. So yeah, bear with me. A middleware is a callable that takes a request and returns a response, just like a view. A view, an HTTP handler, like an API handler, is a view in Django. A middleware can be written as a function that looks like this. There's the middleware, and it gets the get response callable through the arguments. You define the middleware that takes in the requests. It uses the callable from the arguments, and this is a higher order function. And then it returns that middleware, and this, in this case, get response, and you pass in the request. This would be the next thing, I guess. Yeah. Code to be executed for each request response after the view is called. So this is before the view. For example, set up user here and pass it, you know, add it to the request and then invoke the next thing. And when you get the response, you can do some stuff like after, you know, before executing the endpoint and after executing the endpoint. Cool. Or it can be written as a class whose instances are callable. So there's the init, you assign or you get the value of the callable, and then you do the call function. Okay, cool, interesting. So either a higher order function or a class, whichever you prefer. So this might be the actual view, of course. Yeah, if we're talking about the last middleware, or it might be the next middleware in the chain, right? So let me actually try to dig up something. I'm gonna go into Sentry, and I'm gonna go into Performance, and I'm gonna go into Flashcards, Django, probably React Summit. Yeah, there we go. So this is a Django application that I built for React Summit US. And let's check out update flashcard, for example. This is a view or an API endpoint. Let's check out this one. Okay, this does not have that. Maybe it's an old. I'm gonna try to find a different one. Let's go to categories in this case. Maybe this time I will not be able to help on creating an IOC container. I'm not really a Python guy. Yeah, we're just gonna get, you know, we're just gonna go with the flow. All right, there should be, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Let's check out, for example, this one, see if we have more middleware, or actually, at some point I removed a whole bunch of middlewares, so I might want to dig up an older transaction. Let's try this one. Let's see if this has like all of the middlewares. Yeah. Okay, so this is a trace view. This is a trace view, and it basically shows you how things get executed, right? So when we and this is a get request, I believe. When we do a get on slash categories, the Django middlewares get executed before the actual view. So this is the endpoint get all categories, right? The API handler, the view itself. But before the view, we see all of the middlewares, and they're like nested. So first, the security middleware was invoked, and it uses the dunder call. Dunder is like double under, right? Double underscore. Dunder reminds me of Dunder Mifflin. So dunder call, that means the security middleware is a class. It's not the higher order component. It's not the closure that we saw from the doc side. So first it's this one, right? Security middleware. And there's a session middleware in the next, right? So if we go back to the doc site, I'm gonna close this. When we look at the get response in the security middleware, the get response points to the actual session middleware, right? So security middleware invokes the get response, which is the session middleware, which invokes the get response, which is the common middleware, which in turn invokes the get response and is the authentication, message, X-frame options, and then we get to the categories. So when we reach this point, X-frame options, middleware, inside of that middleware, the get response argument actually points to the get all categories function, right? So we can see how, like in a waterfall fashion, we get to the API handler or the view. Let's actually talk views. We are in Django, so let's just let's just use views to express our our thoughts. So get all categories view is gonna go first. Is gonna pass through all of these middlewares, and each middleware will either check something or add more context to the request. So by the time we reach in get all categories, we might have a user in the request. We might have some additional data in the request itself. All of the checks that we want to be implemented will be already invoked, so we don't need to check for authentication, etc., or data validity, right? So yeah, if you follow the clean architecture, we did that within the get categories if this was a clean architecture project. But in this case, we have all of these middlewares, and we're gonna be we're just gonna use the middlewares this time. Cool. That's how they get executed, right? One by one calls the next one until you get to the actual view. Okay, so I want to check out the built-in ones, these ones, and learn what everything happens, what everything happens, and maybe see if there's like any ordering built in. All right. The current middleware does not need to know or care what exactly it is. It just represents whatever comes next. Yeah. Even in, wasn't it the same in Next.js? Should be called like next. Something like that. Or maybe if we don't return anything. Yeah, I don't know. We have the request here, but yeah, I guess I'm thinking about the, what was its name? Node.js and like Express. That's I think in Express we had like a function, an argument that was called next, that we invoke that one to go to the next either middleware or something like that. So this function is pretty much the same. Okay, so the above is a slight simplification. The get response callable for the last middleware in the chain won't be the actual view, but rather a wrapper method from the handler, which takes care of applying the view middleware Okay, there's a thing called view middleware, calling the view with appropriate URL arguments and applying template response and exception middleware. See, there's more. Middleware can either support only synchronous Python, as by default, only asynchronous Python, or both. Okay, see asynchronous support for details of how to advertise what you support and know what kind of request you're getting. Okay, so as far as I understand, asynchronous Python exists, but if you want to use it, you need to change the server implementation under Django. So Django is a web framework, but it doesn't come with its own server, right? It uses a different server. I guess Django would be Express in this case, or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, there is a thing. Let me just go back to Kitty. There's this thing. There's the ASGI and the WSGI. If it says in Express app.use request response and next, yeah, that's how we call the next function, or like the next thing in the chain. So yeah, we have the ASGI, right? This is the asynchronous server, and come on, there we go, and WSGI, and WSGI is the synchronous one, and I think it's the default one. So let's go to WSGI, and it was like web server gateway interface, and ASGI was asynchronous server gateway interface. That's what the letters stand. So if we want asynchronous Django, we need to implement ASGI. We need to run Django on an ASGI server, and there are a bunch of ASGI servers out there. I think Unicorn was one of them. Uvicorn, actually. Yeah, Uvicorn is an ASGI web server for Python. And the way that we use this is, for example, we'll just install Uvicorn and create an application, and then this is how we run the server. Uvicorn with the project name, I guess, and the application name. Right now we're using the run server, which is a WSGI server built into Django. So we don't have asynchronous Python. Everything is synchronous in our project at this moment, and I guess we can keep it as such. Yeah. Okay. They can live anywhere on the Python path. They must accept a get response argument. You can also initialize some global states. Keep in mind a couple of caveats. Django initializes your middleware only with the get response. So you can't define init as requiring any other arguments. You gotta come up with the values yourself. Unlike the call method, which is called once per request, init is only called once when the web server starts. There we go. So middlewares, yeah, when we initialize we only initialize them once when we start the server. But the call method itself, we can have like conditionals, etc. I mean, that's the whole point of middlewares, right? Sometimes it's useful to determine at startup time whether a piece of middleware should be used. In these cases, your middleware's init may raise a middleware not used error. Look at that. Django will then remove that middleware from the middleware process and log a debug message to the Django request logger when the debug is set to true. Right now it is. It's in the settings.py file. To activate the middleware component, add it to the middleware list in the Django settings into that same file. Right, and this is basically a path. All of these come from Django, but if we have our own, it's going to be our app.folder.folder.folder.middleware file. Yeah. Each middleware component is represented by a string. The full Python path. Yep. Okay, cool. All right, so let's check out the ones that are built in. How can we see that? How can we access that documentation? Django installation doesn't require any middleware. So middleware can be an empty list. But it's strongly suggested that we at least use the common middleware. I guess I should just like, you know, cherry pick these and like go to the doc site and read them. Okay, common middle. Oh, there we go. These are all, I guess. gzip, message. Yeah, okay. All right, let's see. Common middleware adds a few conveniences for perfectionists. Look at that. Forbids access to user agents in the disallowed user agent settings setting, which should be a list of compiled regular expression regex objects. Yeah, so you can basically say, I'm not serving Firefox users, or I'm not serving Chrome users, you know, basically based on the user agent, or even like mobile users, I think. Yeah. Yeah, disallowed user agents, and the common middleware is just gonna block those requests. Performs URL rewriting based on the append slash or and prepend www settings. Okay, these are also settings. If this is true and the initial URL doesn't end with a slash and it's not found in the URL conf, then a new URL is formed by appending a slash at the end. If this new URL is found in the URL conf, which I believe is like the all of the URLs that your server can handle, then Django redirects the request to this new URL. Otherwise, the initial URL is processed as usual. Okay. Yeah. foo.com/bar will be redirected to foo.com/bar/. Okay. Yeah. This is same for this thing. What's next? Then we have the authentication middleware. Adds the user attribute representing the currently logged in user to every incoming requests. Nice. We are going to look into authentication. So we're definitely going to use the authentication middleware. There's a login required middleware as well. This is a subclass of the middleware, and override the following attributes and methods to customize the behavior. Redirect field name, get login URL, get redirect field name. Okay, this is interesting. It's new in Django 5.1, which is pretty new. I think we are using 5.1, yeah. Basically redirects all the unauthenticated requests to a login page, except for views excluded with the login not required. And this is probably, what was the name? Decorator? Most likely. Yeah, login not required decorator. So above the function, we can add at login not required, and it's gonna be ignored. Cool. I like this. We are gonna use this heavily. I think the login required middleware, but we just need to add it because I don't think it's there by default because it's like pretty new. Let's go into settings.py. Login required. Nope, it's not there. Okay, cool. Interesting. We're definitely going to use this one. What else is there? Remote user, persistent remote. All right, let's move on to this one. This one was the session middleware. Enables session supports. See the session documentation. Okay, let's go and see the session documentation. I'm going to close these. We're going to keep this and keep this. Okay. I want to read this a bit later. So common was a whole bunch of common stuff. CSRF was this like cross-site request forgery? Yeah. One-click attack, session writing, and abbreviated as CSRF. Okay. Cool. We're gonna read about that. There's the authentication. There's a message middleware as well. Let's check out message middleware. See what the message is. X-frame or cross-frame options middleware, and also the security. That'll be cool to see. Don't we have like a table of content somewhere? Nope. Oh, this is one long website probably. There's a security. Several security enhancements to the request response cycle. Each one can be independently enabled or disabled with a setting. The content type no sniff. Cross-origin opener policy, include subdomains, preload seconds. Interesting. Cool. So when we need to do some of these things, which I think we will, we're gonna look at the security middleware, and basically these options need to be set in the settings.py to some specific values in order to change the behavior of the middleware. Okay, there we go. If we should only be serving through HTTPS, we can enable that. Browsers use the referrer header as a way to send information to a site about how users got there. Analytics, right? When a user clicks on a link, the browser will send the full URL of the linking page as the referrer. While this can be helpful for some purposes, like figuring out who's linking to your site, it can also cause privacy concerns by informing one site that a user was visiting another site. Some browsers have the ability to accept hints about whether they should send the referrer. Is by the referrer policy header. Alright, so we can set this to no refer if we don't want to sniff, and see where the users were coming from. Okay, cool. Alright, so there's some cross-origin stuff as well. Cool. Okay, that was the... I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Let me just see how much time we have for today. 3 hours. That's nice. I need to fix something real quick in the Stream Deck tool. Almost spilled my coffee there. Oh, maybe a little bit. Okay. All right, so I feel like we know middlewares well enough so that we can start implementing authentication. Let's see. We're not gonna be doing any React today. We're just gonna be doing the local host on 8000, and I bet there's gonna be some built-in authentication features that we can do. All right. Start reading this thing. Django uses sessions and middleware to hook the authentication system into request objects. These provide a request user attribute and a request a user async method on every request, which represents the current user. Okay, async. If the user is not logged in, this attribute will be set to an instance of anonymous user. So we need to probably check, unless we have the login required middleware, right? See, we're connecting the dots slowly. Otherwise, it will be an instance of user. You can tell them apart with the isAuthenticated property. Request.user.isAuthenticated. Otherwise, do something for anonymous, okay? IsAuthenticated. Or in an asynchronous view, you can see it's literally the same async await. We just need to do that, async server thing. Okay, how to log a user in. Maybe I got this wrong, but we are going to verify that once we, if we start looking into some async stuff. If you have an authenticated user you want to attach to the current session, this is done with the login function. There's the login function. So from Django contribute.auth, we can import authenticate and login. There's a view here. I guess we do need to implement authentication ourselves. We get the username and password from the request itself. We do the authenticate here, and we'll see about this too. And then we do the login, and then redirect to a successful page. Okay, let's see. In Django 5, a login function was added if we wanted to use the asynchronous one. Okay. To log in a user, we use the login. It takes the requests and the user object. Login saves the user's ID into the session. Note that any data set during an anonymous session is retained in the session after user logs in. So this is cool, right? So for example, if we had an anonymous session and we add data to it, aka this is like this might be the resume, or let's just talk about, I don't know, let's just talk about the e-commerce case, right? We log in we go to a website. It's Black Friday. We want to get something. We fill up the cart with a bunch of items, and we want to go to checkout. When we do checkout, it asks us to log in, and we don't even have a user, right? But the session contains all of the items that we have put in the cart. Once we register and authenticate and do all of those things, on the back end, we'll still have the data attached, but now we're also gonna have a user. So this is really cool. This is really cool because it's built in. Yeah. Any data set during the anonymous session is retained in the session after user logs in. Beautiful. AF says, I usually just do social login with Google and Facebook in my Django apps when prototyping. Saves so much time. Yeah, I was thinking of going using the DRF directly, the Django REST framework, because I saw there's like some plugins that we can use to, achieve social login and stuff like that. We could have social login, but I'm not gonna go with Google. It's annoying. GitHub at most. I don't want to go and create like a Google app, etc. I don't know. It's just, or the good old username password. But yeah, I guess if we take this route, we're gonna have to do the authentication ourselves, which is cool. Like I guess it's going to be fun, to have an API endpoint that implements all that functionality. Selecting the authentication backend. When a user logs in, the user's ID and the backend that was used for authentication are saved in the user's session. Let's figure out what the backend is first. AF says you don't even need DRF for prototyping. Django has all the features you need out of the box. All right, interesting. So DRF is mostly for like routing. I've used Ninja in that project I show in this project. I've used Ninja here in this one, and it was okay. It was pretty cool. Let's figure out what the backend is. This allows the same authentication backend to fetch the user's details on a future request. The authentication backend to save in the session is selected as follows. The user use the value of the optional backend argument if provided. Use the value of the user.backend attribute, so we can even like keep the backend, the type of backend into the database. I guess this is like social versus that. If present, this allows pairing authenticate and login. Authenticate sets the user.backend on the user object it returns. Use the backend in authentication backends if there is only one. Otherwise, raise an exception. So we do need a backend, right? AF says, yeah, DRF is for improving Django as an API server, but if you want to go pure Django, that's okay too. Cool. So we're not gonna like miss out on any features. Well, I guess I guess even if we do, we'll end up developing a smaller slice of DRF ourselves. So yeah, the idea is to learn Django, not like plugins first. Cool. So we'll go without DRF then. All right, let's figure out what this backend thing is. There may be times you have the need to hook into another authentication source. That is another source of usernames and passwords, or authentication, another source of usernames. Okay. For example, your company may already have an LDAP server that stores a username and password for every employee. It would be a hassle for both the network administrator and the users themselves if the users had separate accounts in LDAP and the Django-based applications. So to handle situations like this, the Django authentication system lets you plug in other authentication sources, right? Not just your database, but if you're using Okta, if you're using, something like that. you can override Django's default database-based scheme, or you can use a default system in tandem with other systems. Interesting. Interesting. So by default, we have the model backend, and I believe, or I would expect, model refers to like database models. So where the source, the authentication source is like our database, not some like authentication service, like a third-party service. Cool, yeah. But we can have multiple. And I guess based on the user, we can pick that. Yeah. Okay, interesting. This is pretty cool. Yeah, this is basically like even social logins, right? You have Google, you might have Facebook, you might have Twitter, or maybe not Twitter nowadays since it's like super expensive. GitHub, Discord, etc. You have like 1,000 of them. So I guess you would keep that, right? Like the social login. Edward, good morning. I guess this is what authentication backends refers to. Okay. And there's also a logout. Yeah, we're gonna be doing this. Question: if we're doing this, I guess users are. Let me boot up. Let me actually do this. I have this nifty tool in NeoVim that allows me to look at databases. Give me a second. Some notifications here. All right. What was the code for this? I think it was called that bot. There we go. DBUI. So capital D. Add connection. Let's add a connection, and the connection is going to be Postgres, and it needs to be the name. Okay, let me just go to compose so I can have all the data here. There we go. So Postgres / user at password, was it? I keep forgetting this. Postgres SQL connection string. This one has to be a connection string. Yeah, user passwords, user / password at localhost 5432 / db name. Okay, that's what we need to do. And it's SQL, right? Username is Postgres / password at this would be localhosts on 5432 / millionaire, right? There we go. You see that? PSQL executable not found. There we go. So this was all for nothing. Yeah, basically I need the PSQL command now. I need to have Postgres installed, and I didn't want it to. That was literally what I was trying to get rid of. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna like delete this connection. We're not gonna use that bot. We're just gonna go back to our trusty Beekeeper Studio. There's our database. We'll just connect to it. Ooh. Oh, yeah, of course, I changed the port. Need to save this again. And now, there we go. We have the users. This is what I wanted to check. We have passwords, super user, username, first name, last name. We do have the users. We don't need a model. So we can, I guess we can just like go and start implementing some of the API endpoints. I'm gonna keep it as like username, password, just for the academic purposes. So we go through creating an endpoint here. But yeah, while we're here, Does anyone have any like opinions on how we can structure the Django projects? The Django project, because I know Django uses apps to like achieve the whole functionality. And when I was working on the flashcards application, I actually used DDD type of structure because it just made sense. Yeah, feature equals an app. This is what I did. This was a flashcards application. I did the shared one where I just put, you know, like the basic Django stuff in there and also shared stuff. Then I had a flashcard and a category as like the two domains that I have in the application. I didn't have users. There was no authentication in there. Logical separation of things up would have models and views and routes. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I did. I'm not sure if this is like correct. I'm not sure, AF, if you have worked with something like this, but this is what I did. Is this wrong? I mean, it works, so it's not wrong, but like, is this common, right? Where you split these into like domains. So if we go to flashcards, we have the use cases here, we have the domain here, we have the infra, presentation / REST. Basically, all of the API endpoints are here in the REST API for the flashcards. That's how you do, right? Or you have like one REST. Well, you did say you have the views and routes in all of them. Okay, so yeah, I guess something like this then. Yeah, that's how Django wants you to structure it. Cool. All right, so we're gonna do this, right? We have all of these things, all of the models basically. Yeah. So we need authentication, and that's basically going to be users, right? There's in terms of models, users, I guess. You can log in a user, you can log out a user, you can register a user, you can create a new user, etc., etc. So we should create a new application called users, and we're gonna do everything users related in there, right? Yeah. Okay, and creating apps, we did that with a tool, right? We cd into apps/API, and that was like Django admin create. No, it's not create. Design philosophy is to have apps that you can plug into other Django projects. I only did it for my users app that I reuse in other projects that has a user model and views for profile views. Yeah, well, if we, since we're gonna be like using the built-in Django model for users, I guess this will be, you know, easily pluggable, right? Because it's gonna be using the Django models. Yeah. What was that command for start app? There we go. Start app, users, or user. Is there an opinion on like plural versus singular form when we're naming the applications? Something tells me it should be users, but in this case I went with like singular because of the domain. Domain is called flashcard. Huh. Let's just go with user. Okay, so what this did is, we're gonna go back to our API here, is it created a new user folder right here. Just go with plural. Okay, I went with singular, but yeah. Okay, so it created a new application for us, right? We have the user on the right, and the user has apps inside. This is how the user is configured, the database, the model, I guess. There's also model, so we are going to, probably not gonna create the model, but we're gonna like infer the model. We'll see. There's the admin part, because Django comes with an admin, and there's also the views, and this is basically where we put all of the endpoints for the like authentication, etc. But back in not manage.py, but back in Millionaire API settings, we need to add our application here because we just created one, right? So we're gonna go here and add user, right? Is this correct? There shouldn't be user.apps. It was just user, I think. Let's go to installed apps, application configuration class, or a package containing application. There we go. So we have the package here. User is here. Should we like yeah, these are content types, sessions, messages. I guess we should call these users. So I'm gonna rename this to go with the plural. And let's see what everything we need to do. Users config, name is users here. I really hope this works. We'll see. These are the tests, nothing to have here, no, nothing in the init, and nothing in the migrations as well. Users config. Cool. So there we go. Now we're clear. It's gonna be capital. Nice. So we got this application. Now let's see how to log in a user. Models wise, I guess we're not going to be creating a user, or we can and like extend, inherit from the Django user. I bet it's like here probably. Inherit from that class, define our own class if we wanted to keep more data into that model basically. But we're not gonna be using that one, we're gonna be using ours. Yeah, okay. Right now I can't think of anything extra, so we're just gonna keep that. Why is this complaining? Is the virtual environment it is selected? It's not assignable to cached property. Okay. It came from Django, so I'm just gonna ignore it. My Python is setup in NeoVim is not really like the sharpest, so okay. Let's go in and check out this part right here. So let's go and try to create a view. I'm gonna have to read about it so that we can all be on the same page. Let's go to documentation. There was the urls.py. And it needs to be in the application itself. So users needs to have urls.py. And then we're going to define those. We're going to define those there. When a user requests a page from your Django powered site, this is the algorithm. Determines the root URL conf, which is the root URL conf setting. It loads that Python module and looks for the variables URL patterns. Yeah. So if we go to settings, root URL conf, there we go. Millionaire API /URLs. Oh, look at this. Yep. Nice. I got the smooth scroll back. So Millionaire API is .urls. I can go, I can't go. directly from here. But if we go to urls.py, we have the admin here. Okay. But we also need to bring in all of the other applications. Hey, Harsh. We also need to bring in the other URLs, right? Yeah. Django runs through each URL pattern. Blah, blah, blah. There we go. Here's an example URL conf. We export, or like we define a URL patterns list, which is basically this. It uses the path function to define what the URL is going to be, and then what is the view that is going to basically, you know, get invoked. But how can we do this for multiple, like, how can we branch this? I guess we can define these URL patterns and then like spread them somehow. It's going good. It's going good. We are just starting to, you know, write some code into our Django application. But yeah, we have these here. We're gonna do something similar, right? I'm gonna keep this open. I'm gonna go to the URLs here, and I'm gonna import from Django.urls. I'm going to import path and define URL patterns. And which one was it now? Was it this one? There we go. So URL patterns, I'm gonna define path. Oh, okay, there's the old muscle memory. Not this one. Not this one. This one, there we go, index finger. The path, let's just say users. This is going to be, for example, the login /auth/login, right? And then we need to, what was the views dot something? Yeah, so we also need to import a whole bunch of stuff from the views, and our views is empty. So let's just go and create some views here. Elton, you can define a namespace and have each app have its own URL patterns and use path namespace include. Oh, look, for example, yeah, I'm really excited for this series. Looking forward to learn more of Nitec. Okay, cool. Elton, this is really cool. Django namespaces. Let's see, how can we create our own namespace? Oh, you mean like, yeah, I mean, that's how we're going to do that. So just like imports. Oh, so like here, let's say that we already have this, right? We're gonna give it a view soon, but basically we need to do path index, there we go, and do like users, and then do import index, and this is going to be Marco, how's it going? This is going to be control space users.urls, probably. Include, not import. But include is probably hidden here. Oh, not Cyrillic. Wrong key. Oh, there we go. Yes, that's the function that I'm looking for. Change in word, include users.urls. Okay, this is happy now, right? We have the admin URLs here, and it just like imported. And what is the URLs in this case? Yeah, LSP is acting up. Or users. So the login would be site.users. No, I guess not, because users is at the top, and then we have the URLs in there. Yeah, those are for the admin. But I guess this is how we define the name of the application, starting from the root, and then the URLs, because that's the file in there, and then inside we have the URL patterns here, right? Let's just create a view first. There's also converters. Interesting. Need to look into these converters things as well. Yeah, this is what I like about. I like seeing this. Like there are a lot of tools in in Django that you don't really need to rethink or re-implement every time. All right, so views are basically a function that takes in a request, and there's like a number. Oh yeah, a number in case if there's a dynamic argument, right? So in our case, the URL is a bit weird. Hitting this would mean /users/auth/login. That's gonna be like the login URL. I don't know. Both admin and users will have the same list of URLs, like create, list, etc. We'll see. There's definitely gonna be like a lot of custom stuff. It helps to stand up Django application first, and then you can verify that your apps are configured properly using an admin panel. Yeah, we ran this. We didn't go to the admin panel though, but we ran the project. So let's see. Yeah, if anyone didn't get it until this point, I'm a Django noob. So you're learning with me. Views are controllers in Django. It made me confused for the first time. Yeah, views are controllers or API handlers or just handlers. Yeah, however you're used to the naming them. But let's just say login here, and we're gonna get the request. We don't have any. We're not gonna have any like dynamic stuff. And now I just need to return something. How do we handle returns? Okay, we're in the view dispatcher. I don't think we should be there. Let's go to views and templates. Oh, we need to return an HTTP response. And where does that come from? There's the HTTP response. There are two HTTP responses. Django.shortcuts or Django core handlers ASGI. Well, shortcuts. We're gonna pick that one. All right, Control Y. There we go. HTTP response, and I'm just gonna add a string. Is this working? No, we can't actually do that. Well, then I guess it's the other HTTP response. So Django is more on the MVVM side. There is no controller. Instead, we have view models. Yeah. I think it is on the MVVM side. All right. So HTTP response is probably coming from a different HTTP response. Well, it's not that one. Django HTTP. All right. From Django.http. Import HTTP response. Oh yeah, there we go. And argument of type literal cannot be assigned to parameter of content or bytes. Is not what? We need to like convert the string into bytes, or is this is just my? Well, look at it. It is a string. Okay, this might be, yeah, this might be the Pyrite, or because I don't have Pyrite set up, but I have the plugin, so it might be acting up. This technically should work because we got it from the doc side, right? Okay, so now since we have the view, we can say from views import like dots, and right, we can say views dots, and we'll say it here login. Nope. What was that shortcut again? I saw the imports. And yeah, I'm also a big noob in Python as well. From dot import use. Okay. It's the other way. From dot import views. Now it's happy. Okay, so we have the URLs here set on like /users, users/, and then inside we have auth and login. Wait a minute, what about the slashes? Yeah, we don't need leading slashes here. We do need them at the end though, so let's just, you know, let's keep that same. Cool. Let's go, and Docker is still here. Okay, and it's like hot reloading. So if I do rapid API, yeah, we'll see about that later. Hold on. This is a GET requests. We didn't define the request type here in the views, so I guess it should be the GET requests. And if we want to check for posts, I guess that's gonna be like requests dot, no, not that key, was the other one, that dot method. Yeah, probably. Okay, but so far, and we don't even have render, so I'm just gonna remove that. So far, we should have something working. So HTTP localhost on 8000 / 8000, please. Users / auth / login. I think this was the endpoint. Is this working? Well, apparently it is, right? All right, there we go. We have our first view, which is cool. It was pretty easy. I know that the methods, we need to handle them. Probably we need to handle them differently. Like we have a function, we have the requests, we check for the method, and then we, you know, invoke other functions. That's like the straightforward way. But in the Django Ninja library that I used, you could just like add some stuff here, like do API.get, you know, and just blah blah blah, and that's gonna be a get. Or if you want to post, it's gonna be like a post, something like that, like a, yeah. Okay, so but yeah, this is how we define our API endpoints. And since we're not doing any, let's see, I think get was like the default. What if I put in a post? Is it gonna get executed? No. There's no CSRF cookie. And if that's the case, then all the other ones are gonna get returned forbidden. Yeah, with the Django RESTs. We're not using Django REST though. We decided that we're gonna keep, you know, keep it simple and just use plain Django. So I guess we're gonna do a bunch of ifs then, right? All right, so we have the login here. We can do. What I wanna do is fix the types, because I don't have any types right now, and it's not good. There should be Django types. Actually, I think it's over here. Let's go to API, let's go to requirements. Oh. Django types. There was like Django types package. Was it this one? Django stubs, actually, yeah. Or we can do class-based views, but functions are easier to reason about. Yeah. There was something about this. I mean, I like types, especially as a like a total noob in this. I want to say request dot, and you know, have the IDE show me what everything is in the requests argument. Patrick uses types, which doesn't require a MyPy plugin. So yeah, you're using this one, right? The Django types. MyPy can't crash due to Django config, and the non-MyPy type checkers like Pyrite will work better with Django. Well, yeah, I do have Pyrite, we might as well set it up. Maybe we should have started with that. You know, we have the Django project. Let's set up linting, you know, formatting, those kind of things. Cool. So I'm gonna add Django types into the requirements.txt. I'm just gonna like paste it here. What was the version? 0.19.1. 0.19.1. There we go. I'm gonna save this. And now, because we did this, class-based approach would be much better. Interesting. And also AF prefers class-based views. So guess what? Guess what we're gonna be using? We're gonna refactor that. Let me just like go back, do this, actually go here. Source the virtual environment. This was weird. So now we have a bunch of Python folks in the chat. Help me with this one. So I have a virtual environment here and I want to activate it, right? Activate. So if I do which Python, it says Python not found. Why? But I have, you know, successfully sourced the activate. If I go to VNV bin and do an ls, we can see we do have Python. Shouldn't this be added to like a path or something like that? I remember that I was doing that. So I can do python manage.py and do a bunch of stuff. Instead of doing VNV bin Python and then do the rest of the stuff. Because if I do which pip, oh, look at that. Okay. It should be added. But now pip points to homebrew, even though I sourced it. So this is definitely something that I need to fix. VNV bin activates. Which pip, which Python, not found. How did I create it? I did, let me actually remove this and recreate it again. So here's what I did. Python 3, and if I do which Python 3, it's gonna be homebrew Python. Can I do version? Yeah, 3.13. Oh, look at that. I wonder what I used in the previous project and if this is correct. But this is what I did. Python 3-m vnv.vnv, something like this. So this created that .vnv folder, and then I did source.vnv bin activate, and then which Python. Now it's working for some reason. Okay, cool. We're back in business. And which pip should point to the local one. There we go. So pip install -r requirements is going to install everything, including that new type package that we just added. Beautiful. And look at that. Now even the error is gone. Yep. Cool. Very nice. Okay, we have this here. PyWrite. Let me go back and see what I did in my project, if I did anything at all. PyProject.toml. This was for rough. The line length, indent width, and extend select. Enable the isort rule. This is the import sort. Okay, I'm gonna get this. PyProject.toml. If you have a like a better configuration, do let me know. PyProject.toml, and then just paste this. Save it. Rough was the linter. No, PyWrite was the linter, rough was the formatter. If I remember correctly. Okay, save this. If I do lsp info, we should see a bunch of tools. There's PyWrite. So PyWrite is active in this session, and rough as well. Cool. And then in this buffer, we have PyWrite, of course, because cool. Okay. Rough is linter and the formatter. PyWrite is a type checker. There we go. Okay, so we basically configured the linter and the formatter, and Pyrite. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to configure Pyrite. Okay, this is it. So I feel like if I go here and perform a save, these might like. There we go. They change, and now the import block is unsorted. It's gonna ask me to move this one up, or I can just do Command CA, and there we go. Organize imports from rough itself. So hit enter. There we go. Nice. And that was the extend select functionality. So now they're like sorted and everything. Thank you. All right. Coffee damage is reverted. Okay, cool. We got rough. We fixed the environment as well. Now, if I do request dot, I still don't get anything. Probably because there is no type of the request, of course. That's the response. So what if I do, can I do like this? HTTP requests, and then like define the type of request here. And then do request dot. Is this the correct one? Yeah. I mean, I get types now. Yeah. There we go. So dot method is going to be, there we go, string or none. Cool. I like this. Okay, things are shaping up. Let's check out those class-based views. I really wanna see how we can, you know, achieve class-based views. And let me just like catch up with some of the chat here. The class-based approach would be much better. I like the class-based class. There's a class and there's a view. This is basically how we inherit from other classes. We do the model, context object name, components login URL. That's the login template name, and there's a template. So class-based views, but in this case, like you're using templates. I guess it won't matter. Let me see. Views and templates. Table of contents, where are you? What is going on? I need to learn the doc site first. I can't really like navigate it. Views. Nothing in views. Interesting. So let's go into views and templates. Again, we're not gonna be using generic views. I think what AF added, or at least like it looks like to me, the list view thing is a generic view. Basically adds a bunch of functions to your view, like or even like endpoints, like get, post, put, something like that, like get, create, get by ID. I don't know. It looks like that. But I guess we're not gonna use them, or we'll see. So far functions. Can we do like class? Okay. Python function or method in the case of class-based views. Yeah, Django has generic list view, detail view, delete view, etc. And those are that, right? For example, for get all companies, get company by ID would be detail view, and delete company would be delete view, I guess. Okay, then word class is only mentioned here. So we'll just go to Google, Django class-based views. There we go. So there is a page on them. There has to be. It helps with presentation and what the view returns. Nice. Yeah. I guess we'll definitely use them. Whether we use templates or not, and this is just an API server, yeah, they would still be of use. Yeah. But that means, hold on. That means if in views.py, we're basically gonna have like one view, right? One functionality. We're not gonna have a Python file that has all of the endpoints, right? That's how it looks like to me. Like if we define a class here, and that class like inherits from the delete view, for example, that we want to delete something. In that case, it has to be like that, or you define multiple classes in the views as well. How is that in the Python world? Like one class per file? Is there a thing like that, or you just like, what's the opinion on that? A class view for each endpoint, yeah, but in one file, or how do you organize those multiple classes? You can have multiple classes in one single file. Okay, list, delete, detail, update, whatever you need. Okay, so I guess we can keep, you know, multiple classes here unless the file gets like really weird or like super long, but we'll see. One file. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go and see how we can go about class views. So we have template view, and templates are basically returning specific HTMLs, right? About.html. That means it's going to render that this template. So there's nothing. Two lines, one class with a template name. When you use it, it's just gonna render about.html. That's the beauty of generic views, right? If it gets too long, maybe you need to make a new application to separate concerns. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah. Okay. And then we have about view as view. So we'll import that into the URLs and then we'll just do as view. But this is template views. Let's see what other generic classes we have here. And what do they do, basically? We define a view and we inherit from the list view. Okay, give me a list of all of the query set. I've also seen that. Context object name, I've also seen that. But where are all of the, like, where are all the different views, basically? Django's generic views really shine in when it comes to representing views of your database content. Let's try that. Patrick says if you Google for Django classy views, you'll find a better resource. Classy CBV. Or is it this one? Classy Python. The first link. All right, detailed descriptions with full methods and attributes for each of Django's class-based generic views. Thank you. This is exactly what we were looking for. Oh, look at this. We have login view. We have logout view. Beautiful. Django. I don't think there's like a framework in JavaScript, in the JavaScript ecosystem that basically does this. Look, like everything is already pre-done for us. It's really, really, really good. Okay, since we are going to be working with the login view, let's just go ahead and use the login view and see what this is. Display the login form and handle the login action. We only need the second part because or might as well just, you know, might as well do that. Have the login on the Django side. We'll see. Because we plan on separating the front end with the back end, and if this backend serves views, like actual front-end views, there's going to be like two different origins. The API is going to be on one side, and it's inspired by Laravel and is very feature complete. You're talking about Django? I didn't know that it was inspired by Laravel. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. So we have the login view here, and we have all of these attributes, and I'm gonna zoom in like this. We have the authentication form, we have the content type, extra context, the form class, HTTP method names. Cool. Cool. So that we can basically say we accept posts, right? The initial data, next page, prefix. Next page is what's the redirect, where the redirect is going to be. Cool. Authenticated user, field name, response class, template response, success URL. Isn't that a redirect? Redirect authenticated user. Okay, there's probably explanation. There's no explanation. Okay. If the view is async, what is the template name, the HTML that we want to show? Interesting, interesting, interesting. But the is redirected on success. Cool. Oh, Adonis JS. Yeah, I haven't worked with that one, but I heard Adonis JS that it is a full-featured, backend, and it has like controllers and validators and basically all these things, and of course decorators. I haven't used it though. All right, let's see. Get form, get prefix, get template names, post, put. So if I define a class that inherits or extends the login view, and then define the post method, that's going to be our login action, right? That's how I'm basically understanding this. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete everything basically. From Django, was it contrib dot? I blanked out. Auth views. Views import login view. There we go, login view, and then class. I'm just gonna say login here. Extend the login view, and then let's go back. Do the HTTP method names. We probably need this. HTTP. Will I have like a? There we go. Okay, nice. This is really cool. So HTTP method names. We wanna do just posts in here, and then define posts. Oh, old muscle memory. It's as if I forgot to type. Like it's my first time sitting on a computer. All right, posts. Where is it? We have the. Oh, there's a self first. So I guess we need to do self because we're basically overriding overriding this method. So I guess we need to do self and then get the requests and then get the arguments and keyword arguments if we need to. Keyword arguments or named arguments. Okay. Well, it's still incomplete because it doesn't return anything. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then we are going to return. We're going to return the same thing. So HTTP response, and we're going to bring in. Is this still working? And now I just need to import from Django. Was it .shortcuts? Import HTTP response. It's gonna yell, and I'm gonna organize the imports, and it's gonna be happy now. And now I need to go back into the views, and we have a login class now. But this login class, in class views, you can click on the function to get the implementation. Yeah, handle post requests, instantiate a form instance with the past post variable, and then check if it's valid. Nice. Get form. There's going to be the form. If the form is invalid, how do we know if the form is valid or not? Is there like a different method, validate? Form valid, form invalid. There we go. Is valid. So I guess we can do this. And just to complete the loop, I need to do .s_view. Oh, again, index fingers to complete it, right? So this looks like it. Okay, I'm going to do another request, but it's going to be a post this time to the same API. And the server is down. Oh yeah, I stopped it. Hold on. I need to do -- build because we have we need to rebuild the container. Yes, in the URLs you need to add the .sview. Nice. I like this. I'm starting to like this. There we go. So the server is running. I can just post and it's gonna fail. Okay, so we definitely need to fix the forgery stuff. Mechanism has not been used correctly. For post, you need to ensure your browser is accepting cookies. There is no browser in this. The view function passes a request to the template's render method. There is no template. In the template, there's a CSRF token. Again, if you're not using the CSRF view middleware, then you must use the protect on any views that use the token. And the form has a valid token. Okay, so do we need the view middleware? Then you must use the protect if you're not using. Okay, we saw this at the beginning of this stream when we started to look into the middlewares. Documentation. Find that. Adds protection against cross-site request forgeries by adding a hidden form field to posts and checking record. Oh yeah, that. So for example, this would be the case if Django served the form. So when the Django serves the form, it will add like a hidden field in the form. So when we hit post, it will check for the code, for the token. If it's the same, then it's good. If it's not, that means the form has been tempered. Or as I'm doing right now, I'm not even using a form. I'm just using an HTTP client. So in this case, I guess we need to disable that plugin at least for now. Right? The middleware. This one. And yeah, apparently we are using it. But let me just let's see what happens. I'm not sure if I need to restart, but I'm gonna post again. I guess I need to restart and rebuild. Oh, that was not the case. Okay, so we disabled something that didn't actually make sense. Which one is it? Is it the security middleware? Let's see. Top of the list, you're going to turn on the SSL redirect. It's not the one. Before any view middleware that assumes that CSRF attacks have been dealt with. Before remote user middleware or any other. After you're using CSRF use sessions. This is the ordering, how you can define them. Okay, but damn, how did we fix this? How did I do? Because in this project, I could do that. So let's see. Let's go to shared infra Django and then like settings, base directory, secret key, debug, allowed hosts. The applications, as you can see, I disabled a whole bunch of stuff because I'm not using them, but we are gonna use them now. Migration modules, we're gonna add this later. The middleware is just security and common, and yeah, just security and common. but I removed all of these. Root config, templates, not doing anything, templates, WSG application, database stuff. This is not being used. And the default autofill. Yeah, so like basically, it might be some of these, or maybe the Ninja stuff takes care of that. But what if I remove, or like disable that last one, the frame? Of course not. Oh, there's a mix-in. Okay, let's go back to the view. Add the CSRF exempt mix-in. Let's figure that out. CS, where am I typing? CSRF exempt mix-in, and also mix-ins. We need to learn what mix-ins are as well. Marco says, digital, don't follow the rabbit hole of inheritance. It's full of tears and suffering. Okay, so mix-ins are basically decorators. Do we have this in the mix-ins? Okay, there we go. Let's see. A dictionary to include in the... Oh, okay, extra con. So basically, we pass that into the S view, right? Mix-ins are injected into that one, so we can okay, and then basically add some more stuff to it. Template response. Interesting. So I can basically go to the go here, and then inside CSRF. No. Got lost now. Like this. CSRF exempt. Oh, you can also wrap it. Well, what is it then? Is it wrapping it or adding it inside of there? Where are we? I'm going to invoke the robot. What are mix-ins in Django? Tell me, robot. Honestly, this is like, it's a better user experience. As long as it's true and it's not hallucinating, you know? Alright, mix-ins are a way to reuse code by creating reusable components that can be inherited by multiple classes. They are commonly used in Django, of course, to add specific functionality to class-based views or models without duplicating codes. Mixins allow developers to follow the don't repeat yourself principle by isolating shared logic. They're composable, focused, and flexible. CBVs, specific thingies. Okay. Oh, okay. So we basically have like a separate class, and we add it to it. Probably before the last one. There's probably an order, or there is no order. Elton, mixins uses class inheritance. Since Python supports multiple inheritance, it uses the super behavior. It is a bit complex once you go too deep in it. Okay, so we basically need to import that mixin from somewhere. We can get back to it, but let's go back here. success URL allowed hosts. Okay, so it's not here. I basically need to do CSRF exempt mixin and hope that the tool will know where to import it from. No, that's not the truth. Not here as well. What am I doing? It's gonna take some time to get used to this new config. Home row mods. CSRF exempt mixin. There we go. Where are you? Where do you live? Django braces. Is there like a Django braces type? What is that? That does not look. Oh, that's a bot. All right, let me figure this out. Let me figure this out. I'm going to say I'm gonna say hide user on this channel. And they said no at the end. Okay, I hope you're not. You're actually a real person. Okay. Yo, let's figure this out. Is it coming from the Django braces? How forms are handled with you? So we need another dependency, right? We need to install the braces thingy so that we can access the mixins. Okay, let's do that then. And what is the package name? py.org Django-braces. It is Django-braces. Probably. Let's just go and add that one to requirements, Django-braces. And the version was, I'd like to fix the version 1.16.0. 1.16.0. Go to pip install, do again. And we're also gonna need to rebuild the Docker container. Okay, so this thing will come from braces dot, or maybe maybe the tool will be smarter now. No, it's not. No, it's not. So this one comes from braces.views. There we go. Organize, save, and now, now we can actually check it out. Not a chance. Not a chance. CSRF cookie not set. What is going on? I just want to like test it. I don't need this. Oh man. Yeah, I need you. I need you. What is this now? Let's see. If you have Django CSRF protection middleware enabled, you can exempt use. Well, if we even like remove this, how do we remove this, right? Yeah, where's page now? CSRF middleware. Yeah, so we do have it, but when I removed it, it was still complaining. So is it like a tool issue? Like is it an issue here or like some caching stuff? Okay, I'm gonna go here, open settings, cut out this middleware. I'm actually gonna do Docker Compose down, and now Docker Compose up, and then rebuild it, and let's see if that fixes it. There we go. Nope. Okay, so we're definitely not doing stuff. Something is wrong. Chat. Let's ask the robot. Harsh, I use the Docker Compose in development, but because we're changing like dependencies and stuff, I needed to rebuild it. And Marco says, do you have to configure the CSRF to allow something like the IP address? And Docker uses 0. Well, is that I probably need to do the allowed hosts then. Like local host and also like add 0, 0, 0, 0. Maybe this will help, and now I can like do this probably, hopefully. Oh, there's a CSRF trusted origins. Nice. CSRF trusted origins. And we'll again do localhost and 0, 0, 0, 0, so we can cover both cases. I'm not sure if I need to, let's see. Oh, there's an error. Settings must start with a scheme, HTTP or HTTPS, but found 0, and of course localhost. So, okay. Cool, cool, cool. There you go. No errors now. Restarted. So now if I try to post this, no, it's still there. No. Why? Is it? Yeah. We can use make certificate to generate trusted certificates. Yeah, it's definitely like it's most likely the tool. Timeout request. Maybe it's like, oh yeah, there we go. SSL client certificate. We can like pass it a certificate. Strike curl then, yeah. See URL HTTP localhost on 8000/users. Not API auth login, but it's going to be, what was the posts for the method? Curl method. Post method. -x. There we go. Debug true. Oh, now we have now it's probably the allowed hosts. And this is all the way up. All the way up. Doesn't end in a slash, and you have append /set. We'll just append the slash if that's the issue then. Okay. Let's see then. Now what is the issue? Forbidden CSRF verification failed. You're seeing this message because this site requires a cookie. Is required. at least for this side or for same origin requests. So I need to figure out the curl as well, right? Maybe it's better if we did the... We could do the certificate, but then how do we tell Django about the certificate? Let's see. Oh, there are headers. I can add like host, for example, right? API with all capitals. What if it's on the same origin? Nope. Check if Django has a parameter config for passing the certificate. That's what I'm looking for. The trust me bro type of... And we did add it. Like it's X rapid API hosts. Right? Yeah. Should I just do like localhost, not like HTTP and stuff like that? I don't know. Nope, it's not. It's not even moving. We just implement the login form and continue. I know, yeah. Why is this? How is this? Why is this? How is this? Django, can I just like disable CSRF? CSRF, and then also the X-frame. Or there's like a... Or add this on the view. Can you log into the admin? Let's see. Localhost, it was 8000/admin. There we go. I don't think we created a user though. So let's go and do... I'm gonna exit this one because we don't need that. Django admin, create super user. Yeah, let's do username millionaire. Probably. How do we use this? Django create super user. Oh, so it's not using Django admin, so it's with Python manage create super user. Of course, now we have the DB name and these kind of things. It's always something. So this is basically Docker versus local environment. Let me just create a .environment. I actually want to clean up a bit of these views because we're not even using them anymore. I'm gonna go into the compose, grab this, go into the .env, paste this, format it, do the control V, X, there we go. So this should be happy. Let's go to settings.py and make sure that we are reading the environment. So now, if I do this, we should have this working, right? No, of course not. Could not translate host, okay, to DB. Yeah, DB because we're not in the Docker environment. So I need to go back to .env again and change this to localhost because we're running it in the terminal. Third time's a charm. Of course it is. Username, millionaire. Email address, just use mine then. Password. Password again. Password. It's too common, I know. Do create the user, I don't care. Okay, so we have the user created. We can go back into millionaire password. There we go. Okay. We can log in. Super secure. We can log in. Can we like have... We can change stuff here, right? Yeah. There are the users. Can do modifications here. The site doesn't have a URL configuration. I mean, there's no slash. Okay, so yeah, we can log in, but I just like, I don't need CSRF. There's a custom middleware you can do as well. Yeah, I mean, let's just like briefly think about this. We have an API, and that API will be, or should be, it's the design, should be accessed only by one React application that sits on a specific URL, right? It's being served from a specific server. So if we do that, then we might as well just like, I don't know, might as well host, not like serve the React application from Django so that we have a UI, we have something to work with. We're gonna go around the CSRF and we'll also fix like the same origin type of thing. Yeah, maybe we should do that, but that's a whole nother thing there, because we're gonna be rendering forms in React, and we need to have... Am I using REST framework? No, we're not using. I'm not using the REST framework. That's still not gonna solve our issues, right? Because Django, we need to have a way to make Django pass the CSRF token into the form and put that into, from React side, put it into the form. I don't know how we can do that, honestly. There's gonna be another hurdle. Yeah, there's gonna be another hurdle. So yeah, just like might as well remove the CSRF and that's it. I don't know what's the smartest thing. I am simply remove command. Well, it's not really. We did that. We did that, and that's not the case for some reason. I don't know why. Can I like add this to the headers? How do we... It can be disabled, so this is from like decorators, but this is using the... This is using like definitions. So let me just ask the robot, how do I add this decorator but to a class-based view in Django? Ooh, this took a lot more time than I wanted to. The method decorator from Django utils decorators. Okay, so we can bring in CSRF exempt here and also bring the method decorator, but there's a dispatch. What is dispatch? Put it on dispatch, not on the posts, right? Dispatch is the entry point for all HTTP methods in a class-based view. Okay, there we go. So let's try this then. Technically we don't need the the braces thingy, right? So we can actually go and delete that. Yeah. So now let's go back to users, views, delete this from Django dot views decorators CSRF, use decorators CSRF import, and we had the, no, not you CSRF exempt. There we go. And we also had from Django dot, and this was from a different package, utils decorators. Decorators import methods underscore decorator. That's the one. So let's, I'm gonna organize the imports, do the dispatch, and the dispatch, no, what am I doing? The dispatch had self and arguments. Self is always, these are the positional arguments and the keyword arguments or name. So I just need to return super, invoke it, dispatch, and then pass arguments with these stars, if I remember correctly. Yes. And now we're going to add the method underscore decorator, and we're gonna pass the CSRF underscore exempt here. No issues, no errors, but let's see if it works. Yeah, and then we can also return a JSON response as well. Right now we're just returning plain text. All right. No way. What is going on? What is going on? Okay, these two are done. I don't want any CSRF anywhere. This should restart automatically. You know what? Let me go back. Like, I don't want to bet on Docker. I'm gonna go back. I'm going to do this. Docker compose up. I just need the database up, and I'm gonna go back and do because we have the environment.env, so I'm gonna do Python manage.py run server. Okay. Unreal is cool, but it has a higher learning curve. This is Unreal as well, if you didn't know. Oh my god. What is going on? How do I... Yeah, it's not set, but didn't we just like do the... We tried 3 different things and none of them worked. Come on. Do we even hit this? We do. What is going on? Yeah, I have no idea. we can't get around this. I don't want a form. Like we're just gonna like fetch into it, and even if we have a form, we're still going to need to pass a CSRF token, right? So having a UI is not going to fix our issue. Okay. We did that. Yeah, right. If you're working on an API only backend, you can explicitly disable. Come on. Look at this. It's not letting me. Okay, are you done? You can explicitly disable CSRF protection by setting the default renderer classes in the Django REST framework, but we're not using that. And then add it to the middleware settings. You ensure that you have other strong security mechanisms in place to mitigate risks such as HTTPS, proper authentication, and CORS policies if applicable. We can handle CORS, like we can say this is the origin that we accept, you know, like yada yada yada. We are gonna have authentication as well for pretty much everything. HTTPS as well, so CSRF, please, like no, stop. And we can also create a custom middleware that bypasses the CSRF. And what this does is it sets the Claude is better than ChatGPT. I know. I got ChatGPT like from the company, the Plus subscription. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna use it. I'm not gonna pay for Claude. Or are you referring to the free Claude? Is there a free Claude? I haven't even taken a look at Claude, to be honest. Yeah, the scrolling is terrible. Hey, I've got to start day job. Good luck figuring out Django. Thanks for the help. I really appreciate it. Make sure to tune in on Friday as well. I'm gonna need all the help. Should we just go with the DRF and like call it a day? Is that's probably why DRF exists, right? What's on Friday? We're just gonna keep doing this. Friday, same time. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Yeah. I guess we should... If Django REST framework takes care of this, then we should just like, you know, throw in the towel and then just go and... Yeah, this is explicitly for APIs. It's not for like rendering views or anything like that. This is explicitly for APIs. This is why, like, you know, I go with DRF. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain, unless it errors out too. Yeah. All right, so we got like 30 minutes. We're gonna listen to AF. Let's just go and implement the Django REST framework. Learn that as well along the way, and yeah. Maybe this will help us. We are building an API. We're not going to be rendering any templates. We're not going to be rendering any HTML on the server. We just need an API endpoints. Yeah, this makes sense. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. We need Django REST framework, Markdown, and also Django filter. All right, I'm gonna get these. Yep. Is there a way where I can do pip install but then also add it to the requirements? It says the robots. Is there a way to do pip install package name but also add it to the requirements.txt at the same time? Let's see. It's like npm save dev. That's really cool. to achieve with the requirements. What? Using pip tools, pip compile generate hashes output file, pip freeze, and look who froze. It's not pip who froze, it's actually ChatGPT. Yeah. Why pay for something like this, honestly? Pip install requirements. Pip install requirement Django REST framework without. Oh well, -r is like requirements txt. See, it didn't even like understand what I was saying. Like install it, but then add it to the lists. Yeah, command Q. We're not gonna be using that robot anymore. Markdown and Django filter. Just Markdown? Markdown. Django filter. Okay. Save these. I don't know their versions. I'm just gonna go and install them. They can be the latest. Did I save that? Oh no, there we go. Requirement all. Well, yeah, of course we did. We did pip install them. Okay, so we did that. And then installed apps, we need to add the REST framework. Okay. So settings.py. In the installed applications, we also need to add REST underscore framework. Once we do that, if you're intending to use the browsable API, you'll probably also want to add the REST framework's login and logout views. Add the following to your root URLs. That's like if we want to have a documentation. That's like Swagger type of thing. We'll see. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at the quick example of using REST framework to build a simple model-backed API. We'll create a read-write API for accessing information on the users of our project. And global settings for a REST framework API kept in a single configuration dictionary named REST framework. Start off by adding the following to your settings pie. So we have the REST framework default permission class, REST framework permissions, Django model permissions, or anonymous read only. Let's actually add that. I'm just gonna copy it this time. Nice. Okay, there we go. We're ready to create our API now. Here's the project's root URLs. Okay. We have serializers and sets and stuff like that. And then we have view sets. View sets define the view behavior. Serializers define the API representation. Interesting. Yeah, there's gonna be some, some stuff to learn here. But basically, we create a router in the main urls.py file. We register all of our views this way, right? Yeah. We might not need a serializer. Or we do, I don't know. We have a login that's not that's not really a model backed, or it is. Query set serializer class. All right, let's see a different example. First up, we're going to define some serializers. Let's create a new module named tutorial quick start serializers that we'll use for our data representations. Well, this assumes that we have models. Now, we don't have any models still. But yeah, from Django, we import group and user. We saw those into the admin panel. And then we also import serializers. So there's the user serializer, hyperlinked model serializer. And we probably define all of the fields that we want to expose. So we don't leak the whole model, like for example, passwords and hashes and stuff. And also the group. We're using hyperlinked relations in this case with hyperlinked model serializers. You can also use a primary key and various other relationships, but hyperlinking is good RESTful design. Okay, noted. We better write some views then. Open the views and we'll just define the view sets. View sets are basically views, right? Yeah. And in this way, it's not just it looks to me that it's not just the it's not just a router, but you see with like 3 lines of code, you basically get the functionality, which, yeah, for basic CRUD, that makes sense. But let's see, we are actually implementing, no, built-in pagination. Nice. We need to somewhere to write logic, right? That was easy. Okay, that was easy, but let's just, request and responses. There we go. Let's actually see. Look at this now. There's a decorator that lets you do API view, define the methods here, and then you can basically write code for a function-based view. What about class-based view? Okay. And we also need to see how the router. Oh, there we go. Actually, it's the API view decorator or the API view class for working with class-based view. So yeah, that's it. But we need an example, because is there a def, or we can just check it out then. All right, I'm gonna go back, go to URLs here. We're gonna change this, right? We are going to get back, define the, okay, snippets is the application. They're better and use the API view instead of the model view set. Yeah, for more customizability, since model view set is not customizable. Yeah, I like to, this is cool and all. I mean, for the model, yeah, but like for an API handler, I like to write some code. Like I need, this, return it or do an if, or whatever it is. Okay, so we're gonna skip the serializer for now. I wanna go back and check out the router thingy. There we go. Okay, so from REST framework we get the routers only. Yo, Paul, how's it going? So router equals routers. Forgot the equals. Routers dot, damn it, default router index fingers. There we go. And now we also do the register here. And you said instead of view sets, we should just define views, right? Yeah. So instead of doing this and importing view sets, we should just go back to class-based. Oh, there we go. Class-based views. Yeah. Get the snippet view, and this is how we do get, this is how we do posts. Much cleaner, honestly. Yeah. Yo, this is really good. Okay, so let's think about this. We need to register the users thing. Let me just go back, finish this thing real quick, include router.urls. That's what we need to do. And it's just like slash? Oh, it's just like an empty string, yeah. Router.urls. There we go. And now we can like define everything, but let's go back to not authentication permission. We need to look into this as well, but snippet list all the snippets. So let's go back to our view now. This is not going to have, we're not going to need to have a URLs in this case, right? Because, or, no, we do need to have the URLs. We can't do the register. This part right here, we can't do the register in, you know, in the main urls.py. We definitely need to like separate these two things. We'll just include these, but we need to register user based or like user features into the user's application. Yeah, you can have URLs and then include those URLs in the main URL file in the main. Yeah, but how? You can have URLs and then how do we? These are our URLs. Should we like remain this, keep this as this? Router.register. Let me just go back here and look into the API itself. Register users and okay, prefix, viewset, the viewset class, paste name, query set, using include with routers. That's what I'm thinking about. Okay, so router.urls basically does that. Something like this, I guess, with the application namespace, or both application and instance namespace. Okay, if I understand correctly, for the API we can do this, but we still have multiple applications. Why is there not a permissions, generic views, view sets? Damn it. I need an open source project. When you have a URLs file, your main URLs, you can do. Yeah, I need a project that uses the Django REST framework. A simpler project that we can actually check out and see how this is like. Yeah, this is not enough. Path API include app name URLs. So, okay, so you're saying that we create a router for each of our applications, export that router, and then in the main URLs, instead of creating a router here, just import that router and include like users router.urls, include that router.urls. That's what we are saying, right? That feels like it makes sense. Instead of having one router and then have one router handle all of them, I guess we should have a router for each application, right? We have users, we're gonna have like resumes later, we're gonna have job listings, we're gonna have technologies, etc., etc. Individual routers for them. Import all of those routers here in the main URLs, and then do the, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. That's more like it. Okay, so I'm gonna kill that. This, I'm just gonna organize it, and we'll get back to this. But in here, in the URLs, that's what we are going to do. From REST, not REST, from REST framework, import routers. And now we're gonna do router equal routers dot defaults. There we go. Nice. And now we can do that thing. Now we can do the thingy thing that we saw on the homepage. With the register. There we go. And what's the R before the users? Sartak, thanks for the help. Thanks a lot. Router.register. So let's register the auth/login. And that's going to point to the actual API view, which is views.login. And we're not gonna need this. We're not gonna need this. This is basically what we need. So since we are defining the router here, we need to go back to the URLs and do from where is it? Users.urls imports. Is it gonna show up? Router. Yep, there we go. We need to do s users_router. And let's just do users_router.urls. And it needs to be prefixed as well. So users / everything in the users is there. Nice. Okay. Okay. I like how this is connected now. And now in the views, we're not gonna do login views, but we are going to do from REST framework import API view. And that's gonna be our view. Right? No method post name. We're just gonna skip this. Remove unused and reorganize the imports. Oh, views probably. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, there we go. There's a namespace as well. I still need to like learn about namespaces and stuff like that. But moving on. There's our API view, and we just define the get, we just define the post, etc., etc. So here's the posts. It has the self, the instance, the requests, and there's also a format. Okay, so there's the requests, and I'm just gonna go until this part and do format equals none. Was it? None. Cool. And I'm just gonna return maybe not an HTTP response, but an actual response from REST framework, because it exists. So let's do that. From REST_framework dot response import response. Do this, and now response has data, status, template name, headers, etc., etc. All right, so I'm gonna pass in 200 as well, just for the fun of it, okay? And this is a post request. So, dear Python, rerun this server. Oh, okay. Base name argument not specified and could not automatically determine the name from the view set, and it does not have a query set attribute. Well, it's an API. God damn it. Okay, let's see why it is complaining. It needs to be as view then. It needs to be as view. Okay, maybe now? Nope. Query set is not none. Base name argument not specified. So it's easier if you just like do a base name, but where is that base name? Oh, there we go. There's the base name. The base name is going to be login. Okay. Run server. No. Function object has no attribute get extra actions. Where do we have that? Oh, it's here. It's over there. There's a format suffix patterns. How many things do we need to learn? Damn it. Okay. Oh. The status is not just a number. I need to import it, but it's not gonna be that, but still, you know, let's just like get it out of the way. And let's just use it. Status equals status dot HTTP 200. Okay, sure. Now let's see. Function object has no attribute get extra actions, but we're doing the include here. Okay, let's see. Django REST framework include app router URLs. There we go. Combining routers from different applications. Each app has a router. Cool. Base name thing. Oh, there's still URL patterns. Because the apps are separate, there's still URL patterns. Okay, I thought that we didn't need to do them, but okay, let's just go ahead and do them. URL patterns equals there's a URL from Django. Django contrib URLs import URL. No. Conf. Damn it. There we go. So URL R, and there's like a little, what is that symbol called? Carrots. Include URLs. Oh, we need include as well. Okay, so this is what the user does. It registers an endpoint. There's a view, the base thing as well. And then it does this. Because the apps are separate, my top levels are there's the first application with the namespace and the second with the namespace. This means that Django shows a separate API route for each app. What I would like, however, is a unified API structure. Well, you do you. We actually like it this way. So we'll go back to the main URLs here, and instead of doing this, we only needed to do the users.urls, right? Include users.url with the namespace of users. There we go. Okay, is this something? There's a different, yeah, Django.urls include path. Wait, what? From Django conf URLs, import include and URL. Cannot import name URL from Django conf URLs. What do you mean? Do you mean URLs? No, I don't mean URLs. I can see that from URLs we import URL. Guys, what is going on? There it is. It's URL. It's not URLs. And here is from Django URLs. Maybe without the conf? Oh, but yeah. Yeah, now I'm confused. URL patterns. I also need to refactor the snippets URLs that we use in class-based views. Format suffix patterns. Whatever that means. I hated that, you know, why? Why do we need the REST framework? Like, this should have been explained here. The format suffix patterns and stuff. No. Oh yes, without the underscore. But in this case, yeah, no. If you run the development server, so it doesn't create a router here. It just defines the URL patterns. It formats them. No router at all. The router is probably defined here for every application. Okay. That's what we're doing here. Should be path, not URL as well, from Django URLs. Path, just path. Okay, yeah. When we use path, we don't actually need the base name here because that was not. So no router here, right? We define the URL patterns as they are, like normally. We pass in the views, and it says you just restart the development server. Okay, but we have something else. Let's see. We don't have a router now. We do not have a router. Isn't there, like, come on, there has to be like a GitHub project. These ones, see, well, yeah, but we have. Let's go to serialization. Pigments for code highlighting. Creating a model, we don't care. Serializer. Let me just search for router here if it yeah, no need to spend time. Router here. Nope. That's the thing. There's no router, so I'm gonna have to find an example. Yeah, the docs, not really sharp. Like, they could have done a better job. URL patterns, and there we go. But yeah, okay. So this is in the snippets in the application. What about the main one, the main urls.py? How do we connect? See, and that's it. In part 4, I can't go to part 4 unless I view sets and routers. Is this the thing? Refactoring use view sets. Yeah, we're not gonna care about view sets at this time. Okay, that's good to know. Format suffix patterns can do this as well. Cool. Routers. All right, there we go. Snippets, but it's based on the... Because we're using viewSet classes rather than view classes, we actually don't need to design the URL conf ourselves. The convention for wiring up resources into views and URLs can be handled automatically using a router class. Yeah, all we need to do is register the appropriate view sets with a router and let it do the rest. So we don't care about view sets, but let's just call them view sets. Here's our rewired snippets.urls, and this is the router for the snippets application. But I can see that they also have the users here. Okay, and then they included. Cool, so there is a router in the application. Registering the view sets with the router is similar to providing a URL pattern. We include 2 arguments, the URL prefix for the views and the view itself. The default router class we're using also automatically creates the API root view for us, so we can now delete the API root function from our views module. From the views module. Views module. Where is that? What is that views module, actually? There's a tutorial project with a quick starts. That's the tutorial we're working with. User and group. Users and groups, or we actually changed applications now. It's not about users and groups now. Install, there's a tutorial, there we go. Start application, snippets. Okay, so project is tutorial, application is snippets. If that's the case, what is a views module? And it should have been easier. I wish it was easier. All right, so I'm using, back to the robot, Django with Django REST framework. I have an app application called users, which defines a login endpoint, right? Where do I create the router? Or should I create separate routers for each app? And how do I hook up all of the routers into the main urls.py file? Exhausting. This is exhausting. In Django, you can organize your routing in a modular and maintainable way. Here's how you can structure it. Define the routers in the app level URLs. It's been a nice morning, Lazar. being great watching your process for learning something new. It's honestly not much different. Makes me feel pretty good about the journey. Yeah, totally. I mean, this is... I'm throwing myself in all of the unknown waters. I don't know Python. I don't know Django. I don't know anything. So, so we're just trying to figure out, just trying to like connect the dots here. But yeah, I'm glad that it makes you, you know, feel pretty good. All right, good luck. Thanks for joining. Each app, including your user's app, should define its own URL spy to keep the routes modular. This way you can encapsulate routers for each app and keep the main URLs.py clean. Thank you. Yeah, so you see, like, I don't know who was that. Maybe it was Sartak, but we talked about applications, right? And the applications, or maybe it was AF. Applications are meant to be pluggable. Like, I can just go into this project, plug out the users, and just like add it to a different, you know, add it to a different project. But if what I'm having trouble understanding is how can we keep that rule if we implement a different router here, right? So inside of the users URLs, if we use Django REST framework, but if I plug that into an application that doesn't use the Django REST framework, but it uses the Django Ninja router, how, right? That's not really pluggable. It's not really, hey, here's the thing. I love that concept. Like, I can just take that from take something from a project, put it into my new project, and there we go. We have authentication built in, we have everything. It's literally a copy paste. But how can we achieve that if we, you know, if we define the router within the user's application with the REST framework, but then, you know, use something else? Like how I don't know. I don't understand. But we still have URL patterns here. So router.register is not a replacement for URL patterns. That's how I understand this, right? We have a router, but it's not creating these routes, the URL patterns for us. We need to do that ourselves. That's how it looks like. So we need the register, we also need the URL patterns, and we export the URL patterns. Okay, so pluggability, you know, through the window. Who cares about that? It's not like pure. We're not talking about, I don't know. For example, like clean architecture, we avoid putting any of the frameworks into the core logic of the application. So there are use cases and, you know, services, etc., that can be literally copy pasted from one project to another project without necessarily, maybe not services, but use cases and controllers that you know, that can achieve that. And it's just plain JavaScript. I'm referring to the project that I built here. Not really, at least not with this architecture, at least not with how things are set up here. In the users, if we're using the REST framework, yeah, we are using the REST framework and we depend on that. And if we can't just take the users application and put it in a project that doesn't use the REST framework. So yeah, it's one thing, you know, to advertise something, and it's another to, you know, not, you know, reflect that through the examples and through the you know, through the doc side. So I'm trying to, yeah, I'm like trying to wrap my head around this. All of this is like, you know, super new to me. And we talk about pluggability, but I'm not seeing any pluggability here, at least not true one. Okay, where are we now? This is the users, right? So in the users, I need the router. I also need the URL patterns and just get them out. And in the main URLs, we just include those. So in the main project root, in the actual project URLs, not in the application, in the project, we just include them. See, I feel like it should be the other way around. Like in the users, we should not be bothering with like routers, but we can't really, right? We can't really. Okay, Okay, cool. Doesn't matter. Let's do this then. We definitely need the router REST framework that was it routers. Yes, it was routers import default router, and then we define our router, and then we do router.register. There we go. And it was prefixed with R, if I remember correctly. And I need to look. Oh, no, it's not prefixed. Oh, it is prefixed. So auth/login. We want to pass the views.login as a view or not? As nuts. And then pass like a login base name, right? And then here, what we want to do here is define that as view, and then we just do router URLs. Okay. So we define this path, non-router based paths here. No, well that's not. Okay, god damn it. That's not what I'm referring to. I just need the router.urls. We don't have any non-router URLs. It is what it is. What this does now, supplement existing URL patterns with corresponding patterns that also include a .format suffix. Retain URL pattern ordering. I have no idea what that is. Okay, we have the URL patterns and we just need to include them into our main here. I just need to like include them and that's it, with the namespace users, and that's it, right? That's what it says. Okay. There's an error and it automatically reloaded, so let's look into this. So get URLs, super get URLs, that's all in the framework. Type object login has no attribute get extra actions. You don't need extra actions. Isn't that like extra? We don't want extra. Did you figure out the CSRF? Yeah, we moved to the Django REST framework and now we have other problems that we need to solve. Damn it. Maybe it's this. What is this? Users.urls, namespace users. Import module, URL conf. Okay, so it starts here in the main URLs. We reach this point, format suffix patterns. Maybe we don't need that format suffix patterns. That's progress, yeah. Maybe we don't need this. I don't know. There we go. Nope. That is not the case. So, class-based views. And not view sets, but like API views. Just plain API views. We have a function that is being used, and then we have get, put, and delete. Love that. Then we have the URL patterns, and we just do as view, and then we return them. So no. So do we need a router here? I guess we don't need a router, right? If that's the case, why? Huh. Maybe we don't need the router. Yeah, I'm like having trouble understanding this, and I'm not sure why I'm having trouble understanding this. Is this gonna work then? We use path, we use as view. Okay, and then we just define the URL pattern. So here we just include them, and that's it. No router at all. Specifying a namespace without providing an app name is not supported. Set the app name attribute in the included module or pass a 2-tuple contain. Okay, then no namespace. Yeah, I'm not super set on the namespace thing. So there we go. No namespace. Is this better now? Turns out that it is better now. Okay, so we're not even using a router. I thought that the Django REST framework provided the router, but we don't use the router now. that was wild. Okay, I don't need this one right here. Post this. Different error. Okay. Cannot apply Django model permission or anonymous read-only on a view that does not have a query set. Well, of course. At least it works. So let's go back to settings.py. And I'm gonna remove this. I'm actually gonna remove this. The whole thing. For that to work, you need the app name in the app's URLs. Oh, like this, like go to users and apps. No, in URLs, and do like app underscore name. But it's gonna be the same. And then bring back the users. Okay, let's see. Hey, look at that. Is this still working? Beautiful. Okay, so the content type is JSON. So it's always returning JSON. Yeah, is this still working? Well, turns out it is working now. Woo. This was wild. This was too wild, if you ask me. But okay, we're not using the router. We're just not using the router. That's it. How about this then? Let's go to views. There's our login view, and let's define a get, right? I don't know what the format is. I'm just gonna like ignore it for now. We're gonna return the response. You cannot get this. You should post it. Okay. And then we'll say status equals status dot http. What was that method not allowed? 405. There we go. So we're gonna do a 405. Actually, no. Let's do the teapot one, because if it doesn't work, it's still gonna give me a method not thingy. Teapot. I'm a teapot. 418. Okay. So if we see a teapot in Rapid API now, we should be good. So posting this is 200 okay. Getting this, I'm a teapot. You cannot get this, you should post it. There we go. Okay. You think it's name and not a namespace? No, this should be just name. No, it's no, it says no parameter name. Yes, it's still namespace here. But in URLs, it says app name. This is what I don't like about it. Like, is there types? Like, can I see other stuff like this? Let me just remove the app name and, you know, organize this. And I'm basically pretty chill. But let's see, app control space This is Copilot. We don't care about Copilot because Copilot just saw that we did this. There's no type, right? So I have no way to know that there's an app name that I can export an app name from the urls.py. That's one thing that I don't like about this whole setup. You know, and it's not even discoverable. I cannot discover the app name property. Yeah, definitely don't like that. But at least we have something. Okay, at least we fixed the CSRF by using the REST framework. I believe that we will find that useful with the view sets and, you know, the query set, etc. It's gonna cut some of the time. It's gonna cut down some of the time for developing the application, but we are officially on our way. we can start building things. I wish I could have done authentication in this episode, but no, we're not gonna do that because it's already time. I gotta go. I haven't eaten anything since 7 p.m. Yesterday, and it's 12 p.m. So that's a really good fasting period. All right, looking good. Yeah. Let's just you know, close the episode on this note because we have something. It's positive, right? We have something working. We saw some results. Cool. So we are gonna use the Django REST framework after all. Yeah. I spent a week trying to stand up React Native, so 3 hours of Django is not bad. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Thank you, Edwards. Yeah, well, we have something, and I'm happy. It looks good. I think the Django REST framework is going to provide us a lot of functionalities. I wish we could have gone with just Django, right? Just plain Django. But yeah, we're gonna have to go with the REST framework because that CSRF issue was too weird. I don't want to like spend 2 episodes fighting a single dump issue that you see. We just solved it like this. Maybe we should have done that middleware, but still, yeah, we'll see. Right now, Django REST framework only solves the CSRF issue. We are actually using some of its features like the get and posts. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Yeah, 3 hours and 20 minutes. Thank you all for tuning in. This was a cool episode. And let's just continue on Friday at the same time. All right, have a good day. Yeah. Time to let the cat rest. Yeah, he's still he's working. That's part of his work. All right, y'all. I'm going to see you in 2 days. Take care.